Monday morning podcast update. As you recall, I had just over 2 hours yesterday when I left for the drugstore, but I was able to cut that down with all apologies to the boys at the Big Blue Box podcast. Sometimes I just cut out your waffling and the news section and go straight for the review. So I was able to bring it down to 1 hour and 12 minutes of podcasts by the end of the day. Still 3 podcasts, but down to 1 hour 12. This morning I've got 5 podcasts and I'm up to 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we'll see what we can knock out of that before tomorrow. It looks like I'm going to get some extra podcast listening to time this morning. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, well, more than a couple weeks ago, that we were having some trouble with our cable internet. This is just before I got the Euro, which has helped. But we've had intermittent problems with that cable for years, and it is a hodgepodge. So the guy from the cable company, and this is the 4th time they've told me this at least, they look it over and they go, wow, this is, terrible. We're going to have to come out here and put this in conduit underground and run it around to the back of your house. And it's not going to cost you anything. And I was like, yeah, it never costs me anything because they never do it. Every time they send it back into their accounts department or whatever, and they say, yeah, not worth doing. But apparently this time they've decided they're going to go ahead with this. Okay, great. Fine. But they left me a note on my door a day or so after they did this. Well, guy showed up at my door during the course of the day, completely unappointed. And is unappointed the right word? And without an appointment. And I was able to get hold of him with a Ring doorbell, and I talked to him, and he said, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm just kind of doing some estimates for the conduit. But he couldn't get into the backyard, and obviously I didn't have a chance to have a discussion with him about it. And he said, yeah, they're going to schedule a blue stake. They'll arrange a time with you for them to come out and blue stake it. And then they'll arrange a time for you to come out, or for them to come out and do the conduit. Great, okay, thank you, off he goes. He also left a note on my door that said effectively the same thing. And then they came out and did the blue stake. Nobody bothered to contact me. They didn't bother to blue stake the backyard because they couldn't get in the backyard. They didn't bother to blue stake the side yard because they didn't have a chance to get into the side yard. And I have to say, I'm not entirely sure that the blue staking process would find the sewer lines that are in the side yard because the house had to be replumbed. The sewer line from the kitchen had to be replumbed around the house because otherwise I'd have to tear up the foundation. And, I don't know enough about the blue staking process to know whether or not they would find that, or they only go by what's on their prints, or they can only find metal pipes. I don't know. But nonetheless, I do know this. They did not mark it. There's no evidence on the ground that there's anything going on there. Anyway, long story short, they didn't bother to schedule to come out to the blue staking, so they've done the blue staking in a shitty way. And frankly, I think they haven't got a major line in the backyard that they should have got too, because I'm pretty sure that the main sewer line goes through there. I've had the backyard blue staked before, and there's stuff that they mark that I know these guys are going to have to cross when they go along this line. So I'm worried about it, but I wanted to have that conversation with Cox Cable when they called to schedule the guys to do the work. Unfortunately, the guys appear to be doing the work right now in front of my house. It's tripping my security alarms. And they came to the front door and rang the front door, which, I have that fancy Ring doorbell that allows you to communicate with them even if you're not there. and see who's there. And when I got the alert, but when I went to the Ring app to see it, it goes, oh, there's no internet. You want to configure a new device? Like, what? No. So by the time that I got it working, which I had internet, I don't know what the deal is, but I had to cancel the app and come back at it. And by the time I'd done that, the guy was no longer at the front door. He was up at his van or truck, which is in front of the house, pulling out digging equipment and undoing the cable box, which I can see off the Canary camera. So I'm justifiably worried that there's somebody digging up my house and potentially severing my sewer. So I'm rushing home because I've tried, once the Ring came up, I tried yelling at him. I tried yelling at him from the Canary. I didn't go so far as to triggering the alarm on the Canary. I suppose I could have done that to get his attention, but he was kind of not in front of that at the moment. So it's off home to catch them in the act, and at the very least warn them about, when they go digging, or stop them until they can get it properly blue staked. Not sure. I'm not sure. And I don't know that I'll be able to work from home while they're there, because if they're doing the cable, I may not have any cable. So no communications back to the office. But as I say, I've got a few minutes more to listen to podcasts, although I've taken most of that up by recording this video. Like the armored van next to me. So, yep, there's somebody out there with a ditch witch, and he had my front yard nearly caught up by the time I got here. So, yeah, we had a chat. His first words were, "They didn't call? Tell you I was coming?" No. Now, I will give props to the guy. He did see the cleanouts for my extended sewer line that circumnavigates the house, and so he moved his path out of the way and was going to work around it. So props to him. I showed him where I think stuff in the back is, and he said, well, I will go very carefully. So he seems to have a clue what he's doing, and so hopefully I'm going to show you the path he has to follow. Now you may recognize that part of the house from our early videos with Bumper. That's where we would take him around to use the toilet so that we didn't have to run him into the backyard with Ollie. But if you look here to the right, where you can see that hose, and to the brick side of the house, that's where the sewer line runs, straight back towards my position here. And you can see the ditch witch over there. He's getting ready to come this way. Now he is going to have to come down there and into this part of the yard, which is never ever used. I mean, never used. There's a bunch of rocks and stuff there and junk, and then unfortunately then we have the oleanders. And as we come along this way, this is just a terrible spot. May come in here and try to clean a little of this up so he can get back here. And then he's going to have to go around underneath and up that way. Which, you know, this is the area the dogs love to dig in, so that's something. And now this is looking the other direction. Gonna have to come back down along here, which is also where the sewer line comes, and then around here to basically where the cable equipment is there. Of course, there's the gas meter, so there's gas around here, and there's the sewer outlet for the house, which runs along down here and out that way. So all in all, the back's gonna be fun. I'm pretty sure that's why they've never agreed to do this in the past. But I guess they're gonna do it now. Now, you might wonder why they're not coming the other way. Well, the reason is if you went through the carport and you're coming back this way, you'd have to go through this whole back patio, and they'd have to tear it up. And so they're not doing that, which, you know, yay team. He's got the Ditch Witch back up on the device, and it looks as if he has filled in the trench, at least in the front. So I'm gonna go check in the back and see if he's completely done. He's still working in the back, but take a look at this. I wonder what that is. It's metal. It's not big enough to be anything, because it might be water, but where would it go? Looks more like underground electrical conduit, but you don't usually put metal. I don't know what it is. I might actually clear the podcast out of my queue today. So they finished at my house, they reconnected the internet, and they buggered off. And they did a nice job of cleaning it up. I'm sure in the backyard the dogs will dig the hell out of it. So hopefully that won't happen, but not much I can do about it. It's an interesting bit of conduit. It's flexible and it's clearly special purpose, and it's weather tight with a sort of a cap over it that the coaxial cable rides through, and I guess keeps the elements out at either end. But anyway, they're done. I had to go in the backyard, had to do a lot of weeding and trimming of the oleanders back there in the corner where we never go, which is hot and sweaty work, and particularly since it's about 100 degrees. And so I'm pretty much done. I've decided to walk to lunch. There's a Greek pizza place not far from here, and I had a Greek salad. I had a no meat lunch, if you can believe that. But it's a big salad, and their dressing is so good. Of course, they're bastards about it. If you want extra, you have to pay for it. In any case, so walking to and from about half a mile, each way, I've been listening to podcasts. That's why I have these headphones on. I might catch up. I did an amazing job yesterday with circumstances of getting ahead of my podcasts. So this morning, amazingly enough, I only have one, and it's only 2 minutes long. And what does that mean? It means it's my chance to listen to Big Finish Productions' The Time Machine by H.G. Wells.